One thing about pirates is that they love keeping alcohol around. But who knew a pirate from the 17th century would actually be on a famous rum brand's packaging today? That's right. As we move on to the next pirate in this series, we're going to introduce you to one of the most successful pirates in history. Welcome to our channel. Today, we explore one more of the most notorious pirates in history, and it is none other than Sir Henry Morgan. It's no surprise if you turn out to be familiar with him, because Sir Henry Morgan is referenced in different books, commercials, and the most popular one, in a rum brand. But today, we'll get to know the reason why he is so famous after all. Have you heard about Sir Henry Morgan before? Tell us how in the comments below. Sir Henry Morgan, born in August 1635, was a Welsh privateer and pirate who gained prominence during the 17th century. While much of his early life remains shrouded in mystery, several key details provide insights into his background. Morgan was likely born in Llanrumney, near Cardiff, Wales, although there are conflicting accounts regarding his exact birthplace. His family belonged to the lower gentry, and his father, Robert Morgan, was a prosperous farmer and landowner. Henry Morgan received a decent education, which included some training in Latin and mathematics. In his youth, Morgan set out for the Caribbean, where he began his career as a privateer. Privateering involved receiving letters of marque from the English government, granting individuals or groups permission to engage in acts of piracy against enemy nations during times of war. Morgan initially served as an apprentice to a privateer captain, honing his skills in maritime warfare, navigation, and raiding. During the 1650s, Morgan joined the privateering expeditions against Spanish possessions in the Caribbean. He served under various commanders and gained a reputation for his audacity, leadership abilities, and strategic acumen. His early exploits included attacks on Spanish ships and coastal towns, where he plundered riches, disrupted trade, and challenged Spanish dominance in the region. One of the turning points in Morgan's career occurred in 1663, when he participated in the capture of the Spanish-held fortress of Santiago de Cuba. This success elevated his status and caught the attention of influential figures in the Caribbean. In 1665, he joined forces with Christopher Mings, another renowned privateer, to undertake a daring raid on the Spanish-controlled city of Portobello, Panama. The raid was highly profitable and further solidified Morgan's reputation as a successful buccaneer. By 1665, Morgan had achieved significant success in his campaigns against the Spanish, amassing considerable wealth and acquiring sugar plantations in Jamaica. As a result, he gained prominence and respect on the island. His reputation extended beyond Jamaica, particularly following his victorious assault on Portobello in Panama in 1666. During this daring raid, Morgan captured the town, held its inhabitants for ransom, and repelled a formidable Spanish force of 3,000 soldiers. His triumph yielded an immense amount of plunder. In recognition of his accomplishments, Morgan was appointed colonel of the Port Royal Militia in 1666 and was elected admiral by his fellow privateers. With these titles, he became known as the King of the Privateers. In 1667, Morgan was dispatched to the sea with the mission of locating Spanish prisoners to verify reports of an impending attack on Jamaica. His reputation had grown to legendary proportions, and he soon found himself leading a force of approximately 500 men on multiple ships. Capturing some prisoners in Cuba, Morgan and his captains made a collective decision to launch an assault on the prosperous town of Portobello. In a surprise move in July 1668, Morgan launched a swift and successful attack on Portobello, swiftly overpowering its meager defenses. His men not only plundered the town, but also held it hostage, demanding a hefty ransom of 100,000 pesos to spare the city from being razed. The ransom was paid, and Morgan and his men departed after approximately 1 month. The sack of Portobello resulted in substantial shares of plunder for all involved, further enhancing Morgan's already immense fame. Subsequently, in 1669, he was appointed commander-in-chief of all Jamaican forces, further solidifying his position of authority. By 1670, Morgan commanded a fleet of 36 ships and an army of 1,800 men. We've just begun, and Sir Henry Morgan's achievements already seem countless? What are your thoughts about Morgan so far? Comment it down below. Proving to be unstoppable, in October 1668, Sir Henry Morgan felt a sense of restlessness and resolved to venture once more into the Spanish Main, He spread the word that he was organizing a new expedition and made his way to Isla Vaca, where he awaited the gathering of numerous corsairs and buccaneers who rallied to join him. On March 9, 1669, Morgan and his men launched an assault on the La Barra fort, which served as the primary defense of Lake Maracaibo. The fort was captured with relative ease. Proceeding into the lake, they pillaged the towns of Maracaibo and Gibraltar. However, they lingered too long, allowing Spanish warships to block the narrow entrance to the lake, effectively trapping them. In a display of cunning, Morgan deployed a fire ship against the Spanish vessels, resulting in the sinking of one ship, the capture of another, and the abandonment of the third. Following this feat, he employed a clever ruse by coaxing the commanders of the fortified fort, which had been rearmed by the Spanish, to redirect their cannons inland. Under the cover of night, Morgan sailed past them, displaying his utmost trickery and deceit as a privateer. Then, in December 1670, he led an expedition that included over 1,400 soldiers to attack and occupy Santa Catalina Island, located off the coast of Nicaragua. The purpose of this action was to establish a strategic foothold in the region as part of Morgan's larger plan to advance towards the city of Panama, which was a major Spanish stronghold. Morgan's forces successfully captured Santa Catalina Island, and from there, they used it as a base for launching further assaults. The occupation of Santa Catalina provided Morgan with a crucial staging point for his subsequent operations against Spanish targets. In 1671, Sir Henry Morgan led an assault on Panama City, which was renowned as one of the wealthiest cities in Spanish America. Despite being outnumbered, Morgan's formidable reputation preceded him, causing the defenders of the city to flee and resulting in its eventual destruction by fire. However, prior to Morgan's attack, the gold and silver treasures of the city had already been relocated to a safe location. Complicating matters, it was discovered that a peace treaty had been signed between England and Spain, making Morgan's attack on Panama City a breach of the peace. Unfortunately, news of the treaty did not reach Morgan in time to prevent the assault. To appease the Spanish, orders were issued to arrest Morgan, and the Governor of Jamaica, initially reluctant to apprehend the island's most renowned resident, eventually complied. Morgan was transported to London as a prisoner of state, facing charges of piracy. Meanwhile, back in Jamaica, without their leader, the privateers were hesitant to engage in further conflicts. Furthermore, England found itself at war once again, this time with Holland, posing a threat to the highly lucrative sugar trade in the Caribbean. In light of these challenges, King Charles II sought the assistance of the notorious Captain Morgan. The charismatic pirate was eventually knighted by the king and returned to Jamaica in 1674 as lieutenant governor. Panama marked the culmination of Sir Henry Morgan's illustrious raiding career. By that time, he had amassed significant wealth and influence in Jamaica, owning extensive landholdings. Following the raid, Morgan chose to retire from privateering, although his legacy persisted in the public consciousness. The Panama raid occurred amidst a debate over whether Morgan was aware of the peace treaty between Spain and England that had been signed prior to the attack. The repercussions of the raid were severe. Sir Thomas Modiford, the governor of Jamaica, who had authorized Morgan's expedition, was relieved of his post and sent to England. Eventually, Modiford received a relatively light punishment. As for Morgan, he was also transported to England but experienced a different fate. During his time in England, he enjoyed celebrity status, being celebrated and welcomed into the lavish homes of lords who admired his daring exploits. In fact, his opinion was even sought on how to enhance the defenses of Jamaica. Astonishingly, not only did Morgan evade punishment, and as mentioned, has been knighted and sent back to Jamaica as the lieutenant governor, continuing his involvement in governance and leadership. Upon his return to Jamaica, Sir Henry Morgan embraced a more settled life. He passed his time drinking with his comrades, managing his estates, and nostalgically recounting tales of war. He played a role in organizing and enhancing the defenses of Jamaica, ensuring the colony's security. In the absence of the governor, Morgan assumed administrative responsibilities, overseeing the affairs of the colony. However, he refrained from embarking on further sea voyages as a privateer. On August 25, 1688, Sir Henry Morgan passed away, and his departure was commemorated with great honor. The precise reason behind Sir Henry Morgan's death at the age of 53 remains unclear. Different sources present varying explanations, with some attributing his passing to tuberculosis, while others suggest acute alcoholism as a potential cause. His body lay in state at the King's House in Port Royal. As a mark of respect, ships anchored in the harbor fired their cannons in a salute. Finally, his remains were transported through the town on a gun carriage, making their way to St. Peter's Church, where he was laid to rest. This final farewell was a testament to the esteem and recognition accorded to Sir Henry Morgan, even in his death. Morgan's legacy is complex. His raids strained Spain-England relations, yet he was beloved by Englishmen of all social classes. Diplomats despised him for treaty violations, but the Spanish's profound fear likely prompted negotiations. However, Morgan's actions caused significant harm, inflicting death, torture, and terror on innocent Spanish civilians. Despite the controversies, Captain Morgan remains a legendary figure with a significant impact on popular culture. Regarded as one of the greatest pirates, though he was a privateer, he is honored in place names like Morgan's Valley and Morgan's Cave. His enduring presence can be seen as the mascot of Captain Morgan Rum, with hotels, resorts, and businesses named after him in the areas he frequented. We enjoyed learning about another pirate with you, and we can't wait to tell you about more exciting stories about the most notorious pirates in history. So make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a like. Thanks for watching.